You know, I think Spider-Man PS4 is the first time I was genuinely obsessed with keeping up with a project's development. I was in middle school at the time, and this game literally became my entire personality. However, when I realized that there was basically zero information coming out for the game, I did what any 14-year-old would do and attacked a couple of people. But that story isn't really that interesting, but I do want to revisit that period of time and reflect on the early hype of Spider-Man PS4. So in April of 2016, a Twitter account named NerdLeaks would claim that a new Spider-Man game was in development by Sony and would be announced at E3 2016. Some did speculate that the developer of this game would be Sucker Punch. However, not everyone believed this news was true, especially since this was the only account reporting on it. However, this news would be confirmed to be true a month later when a CV for a stuntman revealed the fact that he performed motion capture for an untitled Spider-Man game. The game would be confirmed to be real come E3 2016, where a gameplay trailer would be shown to the audience. The trailer not only revealed the fact that it was Insomniac developing the game instead of Sucker Punch, but it also featured clips of gameplay. We saw shots of web swinging, the combat, and it gave us a look at the villains of the game. To say the reactions towards this game's announcement was immense is an understatement. Fans were absolutely ecstatic about finally getting a high-quality AAA Spider-Man game, especially since we had been stuck with mediocre to average Spider-Man games for literally decades. Fans tried their hardest to analyze this trailer to death and speculate on everything they could. Was it a tie-in game since this was coming out in conjunction with Homecoming? What would the web swinging be like, and could it possibly surpass the one seen in Spider-Man 2? What was combat like? Was the gameplay real or pre-rendered? Do webs connect to buildings? Is Sandman secretly in the trailer? Would it stay a PlayStation exclusive, or will it release on other consoles? Luckily for us, Insomniac would answer a lot of our questions, giving us rough details about the vision of the game, but not enough to really reveal anything significant. Just as people were curious about the game, there were many criticisms that came out at the time. For one thing, many disliked the suit, especially the white logo. Why change such an iconic part of the character? It was such a radical creative choice that some felt Insomniac was being pretentious, especially since the suit looked more modern and advanced compared to the more traditional Spider-Man suit. There were theories, however, that this wasn't actually Spider-Man, but Ben Reilly or the superior Spider-Man instead, and the real Spider-Man would appear eventually. So hopefully you had other things to get excited about. Maybe you had a weird hobby, or maybe you were a part of some kind of group, because you were gonna need it. As for the rest of 2016, we'd get little to no information about the game. Insomniac would even state that no gameplay demos or info would release anytime soon. It took until early September for us to see anything from the game, but what we did see was very disappointing. At the PlayStation Neo event in 2016, the company would show off the graphical power of the PS4 Pro, and at that event, we saw a few seconds of the game, a shot of the New York streets, and Spider-Man on a pole. Don't get me wrong, this was cool. Still, it was disappointing that the clip was so short and pretty uneventful. There was one silver lining to this event, as at the GameStop Expo on September 14th, a screenshot of Spider-Man PS4 would be shown, which was originally posted on a blog site. To be honest, if you were anticipating the game during this era, waiting for any kind of update was genuinely irritating. There was little to no information shown, and the things we did get were so minuscule that they never quenched our eagerness to see anything from the project. It didn't help that the game wasn't present for many major events you would have expected it to appear at. There was another look at the project come November, as Spider-Man appeared in a CG trailer called The King for PlayStation. But again, this was basically nothing. It wasn't until E3 2017 where we'd finally get our first full gameplay reveal for Spider-Man PS4. Here, we'd finally get a look at the full web-swinging gameplay, a look at the new dynamic combat system and a look at the graphics and new stealth mechanics. We'd also get confirmation here that Mr. Negative would serve as the main antagonist of the game. All things considered, this was a pretty good gameplay showcase that did enough to appease those who wanted to see something from the game. However, this gameplay showcase also did spark a short-term controversy you're likely aware of. When the gameplay was finally released, there was a plethora of criticisms for the game. First of all, the blue HUD was very distracting for many people. The combat seemed very bare bones and basic. The web swinging was very slow and basic as well. The biggest complaint you saw at the time was regarding the graphics and visual style of the game. You see, many felt that something looked strange about the gameplay footage, especially when you compared it to the E3 2016 trailer. I mean, even I thought something looked very weird about it. The original felt more grounded, with more realistic lighting and a rough, textured suit. The newer graphic style felt more glossy and cartoonish, and Spider-Man's suit lacked the same kind of rough detail and texture as seen in the 2016 trailer. In July 2017, Insomniac would show off the game again at D23 in the form of BTS footage. Insomniac devs spoke about their inspirations and process while developing the game, accompanying that footage with short bursts of gameplay that did address some issues fans had with the E3 showcase, like the slow web swinging. A story trailer would also be shown at PGW 2017, and then another behind-the-scenes showcase at PSX in December. In April, Game Informer would announce their coverage of Spider-Man PS4, which was announced alongside a piece of artwork from Alex Ross. With this announcement, they'd reveal a trailer, and here we'd see footage from the game once again for the first time since D23 the year prior, showing off more of the web-swinging gameplay, combat, and missions you can find in the open world. For the next month after this, Game Informer would continue their coverage of the project, with each new episode covering a different aspect of Spider-Man PS4's gameplay, including combat, the web swinging, and finally, the visuals of Spider-Man PS4, including the suit, would be showed off as well. This Game Informer article was a turning point in terms of the anticipation for the game. It was at this point that fans were no longer restless about receiving material from the game. The rest of the story you all know by now. Insomniac would continue promoting the game leading up to its release. Hey, if you are new to the channel, consider becoming a channel member to see videos like this a day early alongside some other perks. Anyways, I'll see you next time.